And good morning, Tennessee Valley. It's a Monday morning, November 19th, and we hope that you've had a good weekend, a good week, a good November, and you're going to have a good week because it's Thanksgiving week. And hey, I noticed on the intro, it didn't have my name on there, so you don't even know who I am. My name is Joe Palo, and oh, I'm sorry, there it is. My name is Alan Mincy. I'm your host for Tennessee Valley this morning, and my co-host is Lou, L-U. That's not Lee University, but rather Live United, which I am the Vice President of Communications at the United Way Bradley County. So that's why I get to bring Lou as my co-host and why I get to take a brief little segment of the show to talk about United Way before we get into the show. And I will tell you, we've got an interesting show today because I've asked my friends from the Sports Drive up on 101.3 The Buzz to come in. We're going to talk a little bit about some high school basketball. It's that season, and college basketball has started too. We're going to avoid baseball, even though there was a trade last week. The Marlins look like they're selling out again. Sorry, Joe. College football is winding down, but we're probably going to avoid that too because whenever you start talking about college football, you can't not go to talk about Coach Dooley, and then emotions get high, and we want to keep it rather low-key this morning. It's Monday, and we don't want to get too many people stirred up. But we will talk high school basketball. Before we get into that, just a couple of things. First off, last week you may have seen that United Way was able to report that we're at 96% of our goal, which is $2,013,000, 2013, because the money we raised this year goes to fund programs for next year. And we were able to report over $1.9 million has been raised in our community. So thank you, community, for what you do to help folks that are in need here. And good report. We really were pleased to be able to report that. Quentin Scott, a 10-year-old boy from the Boys and Girls Club of Cleveland, came and sang the national anthem and sang For Every Mountain, I believe was the song he sang. And I wish I had I wish I was as polished at the age of 10. I wish I was as polished at the age of whatever I am now, which we won't talk about, as he is at the age of 10. So thanks for all of that. It was a great week for us. And we have a lot to be thankful for at United Way. We're going to take a quick break. Hey, this was a quick segment, but we're going to take a quick break and then come back, and we're going to talk some high school basketball, talk a little bit about what they do at the Sports Drive also. We've got Scott Williamson and Robbie O'Brien from the Sports Drive, and we'll come back right after these messages and talk sports. So stay tuned.
Great local sports right here on WTNB East Tennessee Television. Keep up to date on all your Walker Valley sports news Wednesdays with the Walker Valley Sports Zone. Get a behind-the-scenes look at all the local high school area football with the pregame Thursdays at 10. And it's a Friday night tradition. Football Friday, every Friday night at 11 o'clock. Right here on WTNB East Tennessee Television.
Kyle Motors, 802 20th Street Southeast in Cleveland, is the place to find quality pre-owned cars and trucks. Kyle offers on-the-spot financing on all vehicles on the lot. Each pre-owned vehicle goes through a complete inspection to make sure each car and truck meets the Kyle Motors standard. Warranty and extended warranties available on all vehicles. Kyle Motors will sell you a car or truck that you will be proud to drive for many years to come. See Tony, Bill, Dale, James, or David and let them put you in your next quality pre-owned vehicle. Kyle Motors, 802 20th Street Southeast. Phone 790-7100.
At Crawford Pharmacy, we offer custom compounding. Our pharmacists are known for their attention to detail and unique expertise. So visit us at 2260 Chambliss Avenue, Cleveland, Tennessee. For personal assistance, walk right in or come up to our convenient drive-thru. Crawford Pharmacy, serving our community one person at a time.
Featuring some of the South's most scenic views, the Mountain View Inn has been a landmark in the Cleveland community for over 40 years. Our executive guest quarters with flat screen TVs and excellent bedding will make any guest comfortable. Carrie's Restaurant is one of Cleveland's favorite, with one of the best buffets around.
Hello, and on behalf of the Hughes family, thank you for so many years of your business and your friendship.
Town Americana, where trucks are big and bold, and a handshake is firm, and your word is gold. Don Ledford Chevy Buick GMC in Athens is a $2,000 drive. Maybe you're coming from here or here, doesn't matter. Buying a truck from Don Ledford in Athens will save you at least $2,000 bucks. Don Ledford Chevy Buick GMC in Athens, a $2,000 drive worth making.
I'll take that drive every time.
Welcome back to Tennessee Valley this morning on this Monday morning, November the 19th. I would be remiss to not say happy birthday to my father. Lost him back in 1981, but today would have been his birthday. So still think about you, Daddy. So happy birthday. I don't know, guys, what Joe Palo does in these other shows, but every show I have, he comes out here and starts telling stories, and I'm almost afraid we're not going to get back on the air because we have so much fun with Joe. He's even telling stories through the walls.
The walls are talking to us, Al.
Yeah, I think he's on that little island there on the painting. But with me I have Robbie O'Brien and Scott Williamson, and they are with the Sports Drive on The Buzz 101.3 FM.
That's right. Talk 101.3.
Talk, and you were on once before when we were getting ready to go into football season.
Correct.
And at that point, you were just doing, I want to say, a couple of hours, and now you've expanded.
Well, at that time, we were doing 1 hour a day, 5 days a week. Since we have expanded, we're a 2-hour show, 5 days a week, with some exception rule. For example, Monday nights we're out at CBC of Cleveland for a 3-hour show out there, kind of bringing into the NFL football game for Monday Night Football.
Sure.
And then on Thursday nights, which will be out there tonight for the Monday night game, and this Thursday night we're at Aubrey's every Thursday night from starting at 5 and go to about 8:30 as well, because you have a college and a pro game on Thursday night.
We won't be there this Thursday since it's Thanksgiving, but we will be next Thursday.
Yeah.
But
yeah, don't look for us.
And I know you have folks call in, but
Sure.
do you have folks come up when you're on these, I call them remotes, I guess, radio term. Yeah. Do you have folks come up that you talk to while they're at the restaurant or at CBC?
Sure, we do, and we actually encourage that. We love to have the interaction with our listeners and so forth. It's a good opportunity to come in there and kind of see how the show goes, and realize how a couple of dummies can even be on radio.
Okay. And we don't really want to give these guys any credit,
No.
but we have two of the hosts here, co-hosts, quad hosts, I don't know what you call yourself, but you got a couple of other guys that we ought to mention, but just briefly.
Yeah, very briefly.
That helped you, yeah.
But Jason Hildebrand, who he's been out for the last few weeks. He and Emily just brought in a baby girl.
They did.
So
and he's still mourning the loss.
Yes,
to Texas A&M.
Yes, he's you're not allowed to use the word Texas and A&M in his house right now. So Jason Hildebrand's definitely part of the show. We have a couple of folks though. Aaron Weatherford helps out with the show, and of course we have a gentleman named Michael Lawson that's become part of the team. Okay. Well, and actually Scott Webb. Who folks
sure,
right here
people know Scott.
Scott know him very well. So we've kind of expanded our crew
we take anybody.
Yeah, basically, if you'll work for very, very minimal, maybe a few fries at Aubrey's or CBC, then you can be part of the crew.
Got to have the hamburger at CBC. I don't know if you guys ever do, but the hamburger.
I've had it there for we don't.
We can't seem to get past the chicken tenders for some reason.
Yeah, they're very good.
The sampler platter.
I like these guys. They know where to stage their shows.
Exactly.
Where there's good food is a great thing. Hey, I wanted you to bring you guys on to talk a little bit about high school basketball. We talked about high school football the last time you were here, and even delved a little bit into the college football. But it's been so long, and Robbie and I were talking about my nephew, Michael Mincy, or Mike as you knew him, that you played against him in college.
Yep.
But I was really involved with high school basketball when Michael played at McMinn Central. And then my other nephew played over at Meigs County. Ryan played at Meigs County. So I followed high school basketball then, and I've really gotten out of it since then. So I'm not as knowledgeable in sports as you guys are, granted, but well down in high school basketball. So just tell me, and we can separate it into girls and boys, or are they still playing 6-on-6?
No, the
it's
girls
not been that long. It's not been that long. But
and they're not playing with donkeys either.
Yeah.
Well, nah, that's way before my time. But let's talk a little bit about. Let's start with the ladies first. And this has always been a hotbed for ladies, for women, for girls basketball. What are we looking for this year? Robbie, Scott?
Well, I mean, the 3 teams here in the county are going to be the better teams in the district. I think both the media and the coaches agreed. They had Bradley 1, Cleveland 2, and Walker Valley 3 in the preseason poll. Bradley Central lost 6 seniors last year, made it all the way to the sectional, and had a disappointing loss. Of course, they were playing without Caroline Smith, who suffered that disastrous concussion.
Basically, career ending.
Well, she's bounced back. She's playing at Lee University now, but she was out for a long time, and it certainly affected their opportunity to make it to the state tournament last year. But they returned Brooke Copeland and Jason Reuter's daughter in the post. I mean, they've got more size on a high school team than some college teams in this area have.
I started to say, when you were here and we were talking about football, you mentioned a Copeland, and I said, how many Copelands are there in this town? And now we have a girl that's playing basketball with the last name Copeland. So that's an athletic family.
Very athletic. There's one in the middle school ages now that's coming up that'll be, Haunton area schools here in the near future in the high school level, Bryce's little brother. But yeah, Brooke Copeland is probably going to be the leader of that team this year for the Bearettes. Just a great ball player. Her and the Reuter girl both have got scholarship offers out there. Probably, some potential Division I scholarships. So very talented group. And as Robbie said, in high school, I know we went to the media days. It's kind of funny because Coach Reuter's complaining he don't have the size that he usually does. He's got like a 6', 6'2" girl on the team, and some of the other coaches talking like their forwards are 5'8", 5'9", and Coach Reuter's complaining about only having 6-footers on his team. So
well, look how big Reuter is.
Yeah, exactly.
He has to duck to walk in the room, so they're short to him.
But for what he's been coaching the last few years, they are undersized compared to the previous years. But extremely talented team. They're still going to be the class act to beat in the district this year. But I can tell you, Coach Kaiser, Coach Stone, the opposing team, they're not going to take a back seat. They're going to play them hard. Very talented team, and I think you'll see a very competitive district this year.
Well, I go back to the days of Coach Smitty. So I remember when Bradley was the premier program in the state.
Yes.
And Cleveland built itself up, and then when Walker Valley became a high school for that matter, their girls were pretty good, and are still pretty good.
Well, they are. They've been good since they opened the doors. They had David Tucker coaching there for years, and he coached at McMinn County and won big for years, and he's since moved on coaching down in Georgia. But they haven't skipped a beat. Of course, they had I think Jan. I know her as Jan Dodson, but she married Patrick Spangler, so Jan Spangler came in for 1 year and won close to 30 games, I think, and now Jessica Stone's picked it up where they've left off.
So I don't know if they have any children, but that should be an athletic child too, because Patrick can play some ball.
Yes, and you look at Coach Stone taking over the program. I think she's all-time leading scorer, all-time leading three-point scorer.
Well, it's between her and Jan. I don't know. They were college roommates and best friends, and they alternated which one would shoot it every time down the floor. So
and there's a pretty good chance it was going in when they did throw
it
up.
Well, they're from Kentucky, so just kind of grew to expect.
We'll get to Kentucky here in a little bit, Robbie. Let's not jump too far ahead.
Do we have to go there, Alan?
Well, Joe Palo came in, and the guys here wanted to take a picture so they could put it on their Facebook page or web page or
Twitter
page or publicity for them. And Robbie's phone is a Kentucky phone. So he bleeds blue, and it ain't Carolina blue.
It's not, and it's not good blue.
And it ain't Duke blue.
He says, what is the real blue, or what's the?
Yeah, the big blue.
It's the big blue. That's how you
big
say
blue.
it. Okay, so.
But we may talk a little bit about Kentucky here in a bit. What about any of the other teams in the district? Are all three of the and that's something I'm a little confused about too, because I read something recently, I guess in the paper, where the Polk County coach was complaining, and it may have been football, that it was complaining that they've redistricted things to where there's only going to be like 4 football teams in one district, or what classifications.
Well, that is in the football side, the way they classify once they get into the playoffs, a little different than the basketball. Okay. But Polk County kind of has a disadvantage in there. That may have been what you were reading. I know they kind of end up going up there to the Knoxville market basically to play some of the bigger schools.
But as far as our basketball teams, are Walker Valley, Cleveland, and Bradley all in the same district?
Yes, sir. They
okay.
Sure are.
Okay. What any other teams in the district we need to be aware of? As far as the girls go,
Ottawa is always a team you got to look out for. A couple of the other ones that are, kind of raised in a little bit of a rebuilding mode. I think there's some good things in the future for them.
Yeah, McMinn County has shown some promise.
Yeah,
they made some strides of improvement last year. I know they beat Cleveland up there.
Okay.
And Cleveland ended up having a great year under first-year coach Mindy Kaiser last year, and I really expected to see Cleveland make another step forward. Because she got the job late last
She took
summer.
Rachel's place?
Rachel.
Okay.
When Rachel found out that she was going to have her second child beginning of last summer, she decided she wanted to step away from coaching. So Mindy came in late and didn't really get to work with the girls through the summer like she had the opportunity this past summer. So I expect to see some big strides from them.
Well, I'm looking forward to the Walker Valley Cleveland matchup, because even at our media day luncheon, Alan, Coach Kaiser and Coach Stone couldn't quit trash talking each other, because Coach Kaiser coached Stone at Lee University.
Okay.
So it's a little bit of a rivalry there, and so they talk a little junk, which is always fun.
Oh yeah. I
think the quote was that I hope your team plays defense like you did.
Yeah, that's what Mindy. That's what Coach Kaiser told Stone. I guess she liked to shoot more than she liked to play defense.
I know you don't have a calendar in front of you, but do you know when that game's coming up? Is it this month or?
No, it'll be. I think early December when they first.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know for the first time that I can remember, Cleveland and Bradley actually open up the district schedule this year. It'll be Friday week. It'll be next Friday.
Okay.
After the weekend
after Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Pretty much all of it gets rolling at about the first week of December.
Okay. Well, I like I say, I'm not keeping up with it like I should, and especially with the quality teams we have here in Bradley County. But and I can't let you go without asking you about my alma mater, because a couple of years ago we were state champs, McMinn Central.
Yes.
Do you follow them at all? Do you have any knowledge of what's going on there?
I do not. I know they they've had some change. I know now. I will tell you this: a couple of their better basketball players did transfer to McMinn County this year, because I know it was kind of mentioned in the media luncheon from the McMinn coach that they crossed the creek and came over to McMinn County. So so they did lose one of their, I think their leading scorer is over there with the Cherokees now. So. But McMinn Central always was able to put a team on the floor.
They do put a good girls team, and Johnny does a great job as coach. He's been doing it longer than you guys have been around, I guess.
Yes.
I'd say he's got 30 years in, probably.
Not quite as long as we've been around, but he's been there a long time.
Well, maybe Robbie. Robbie's a little younger than us.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm younger than I look. Scott and I are actually same age.
Yes.
30.
I like that.
I'll go with that.
Yeah, good. Good call.
Sounds good.
And you're 32, right?
And next year when we do the show, we'll be 29. You start going back.
You start going backwards. Yeah, that's buzz.
That's the buzz math.
The buzz mathematics, I guess. Hey, I want to talk to you about boys basketball, but we're going to take a quick break and come back and talk boys high school basketball, and then we may get into some other things, including Kentucky. There, but let's take a break, and we'll be right back after these messages. Talk a little bit of boys high school basketball with the guys from Sports Drive. So stay tuned.
Town Americana, where trucks are big and bold handshake is firm, and your word is gold. Don Ledford Chevy Buick GMC in Athens is a $2,000 drive. Maybe you're coming from here or here. Doesn't matter. Buying a truck from Don Ledford in Athens will save you at least $2,000 bucks. Don Ledford Chevy Buick GMC in Athens, a $2,000 drive worth making.
I'll take that drive every time.
Hello, I'm Bill Odom.
Hi, and I'm Tammy Odom.
We want to invite you to join us on Joyous Living Today for interviews, testimonies, and gospel music by special guests and Dixie Sunshine.
Right here on WTNB, Sundays at 4 p.m. and Tuesdays at 7:30 p.m. You don't want to miss it.
Jesus, Jesus, the light of the world.
Featuring some of the South's most scenic views, the Mountain View Inn has been a landmark in the Cleveland community for over 40 years. Our executive guest quarters with flat screen TVs and excellent bedding will make any guest comfortable. Carrie's Restaurant is one of Cleveland's favorite, with one of the best buffets around.
Hello, and on behalf of the Hughes family, thank you for so many years of your business and your friendship.
At Crawford Pharmacy, we offer custom compounding. Our pharmacists are known for their attention to detail and unique expertise. So visit us at 2260 Chambliss Avenue, Cleveland, Tennessee. For personal assistance, walk right in or come up to our convenient drive-thru. Crawford Pharmacy, serving our community one person at a time.
Kyle Motors, 802 20th Street Southeast in Cleveland, is the place to find quality pre-owned cars and trucks. Kyle offers on-the-spot financing on all vehicles on the lot. Each pre-owned vehicle goes through a complete inspection to make sure each car and truck meets the Kyle Motors standard. Warranty and extended warranties available on all vehicles. Kyle Motors will sell you a car or truck that you will be proud to drive for many years to come. See Tony, Bill, Dale, James, or David and let them put you in your next quality pre-owned vehicle. Kyle Motors, 802 20th Street Southeast. Phone 790-7100.
Oh, the age of technology. If you just tuned in just 30 seconds earlier, they were all over here texting and Robbie and I have been talking about my nephew Michael Mincy, who is the head women's basketball coach at Carson Newman, and Robbie thinks he played against him when he was at Milligan.
I'm pretty sure there was a Michael Mincy that played guard for King,
and
I played for Milligan. I'm pretty sure we had some matchups.
I would think so, because as you said, there can't be two Mike Mincys or Michael Mincys.
I wouldn't think so.
That played at the same school.
Especially both of them short guards that could shoot.
No, that would limit. We're limiting it.
Narrowing it down here.
Narrowing it down. Now, Robbie, where'd you go to high school?
Johnson Central in Kentucky.
Okay, of course. There we go again.
Yeah.
I played my first 2 years at Morehead State before I transferred, and played my last 2 years at Milligan.
There is no, I'm sorry. There's a Mike Mincy at Youngstown State, I believe, in the athletic department. Different one, but I digress. Scott, are there any Scott Williamsons that are famous out there besides you?
There was a famous baseball pitcher by the name of Scott Williamson, and you kind of see the Michael Jordan commercial where you're like, oh, you see the Michael. Well, that's how they would. When I have a hotel reservation, especially out in the Boston area, they'd say, oh, it's you. So
okay.
But he was a great baseball pitcher, but not this Scott Williamson.
He wasn't that famous. I don't remember him.
He had a few good seasons.
Okay. Well, there's been no Alan Mincys, although there is an Alan Mincy who is on a racing team, and I want to say he may be for Elliott Sadler or something. He's one of the pit guys.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've tried to Facebook him as a friend, and he won't have anything to do with me. So
if I need a tire change, can I call you?
Oh, yeah, I'll change your tire, all right. I'll change it from up to flat. That's about all I can do. Hey, we talked a little bit about girls basketball in our area, high school basketball, and now let's talk a little bit about the boys. And it's hard for me to call it boys basketball because these are men. Some of these guys, they are tall and built like rocket ships. They're ready to play. What are we looking at this year?
Well, I think all the area schools, and once again, all three schools could very well make a good run in the district. Bradley, I think, is going to be the cream of the crop, and it's simply because a name that we mentioned all football season, the name we mentioned in the preseason when we came here to talk football, and that name is none other than Bryce Copeland. Such a floor general, 4-year starter on the basketball team as well, just like it was the football team. And just, when you get a special kid like that has so much heart and so disciplined, and he's a coachable kid. That's the thing, Robbie. You've spent a lot of years in coaching. A lot of times you can have some guys that are very talented, it's not coachable. Bryce is a very coachable kid too.
Yeah, he does the intangibles. I mean, whatever the it factor is, he's got it. Especially at the high school level, we saw many times in football, he willed his team to victory, and he's done a lot the same on the basketball court. I think all three of our local teams have a lot of questions. They probably have more questions than they have answers this year, because all of them are kind of in transitional phases. Bradley lost, I think, 5 or 6 seniors last year. I know they've only got 2 guys returning that really even played last year at all. I know Walker Valley lost 6 seniors. They have no seniors this year.
Wow.
And Cleveland had some attrition as well. Had their best player, the best player in the area.
A Division I signee.
Signed last week with Wichita State, DJ Bowles. Decided late in the summer to transfer to Oldsmar Christian School down in Florida. But Cleveland does have talent, though. They've got the addition of Jamal Johnson, who transferred over from Walker Valley. He's a 6'6" wing-type player that's getting some Division I looks right now. Of course, they return C.J. Bryant in the backfield, and if he makes the kind of strides that he made this year in football, he was amazing at football this year and much improved over last year. If he makes that maturity as well, but if he makes those types of strides in basketball, then that would go a long way to fill the void of DJ Bowles.
Yeah, it will. And then going back to Bradley, one of the guys Kent Smith mentioned, Matt Whitmire, very talented young guy. He's ate a lot of cheeseburgers at my house as well. He's got a hollow leg or something, but he's one of those guys that Coach Smith thinks can put in 16 to 20 points a game for the Bears. So they're going to be leaning on him to step his game up to the next level this year for the Bears.
One thing you can count on from a Kent Smith coach team is that they're going to play hard and they're going to play smart. And by the end of the year, they're going to be one of the best teams in the area.
He didn't get to 1,000+ wins.
No, I've seen him lose an entire team and have 3 or 4 college signees. I've coached 3 of his kids at the college level, and you won't find kids that are better coached and more prepared to play at the next level than the job that Kent Smith does at Bradley.
What are we looking at? I didn't ask you about the girls or anything, but with the boys or you can even go back to the girls if you like. Are we more offensive-minded in our area or defensive? I know when Coach Smitty, here I go back telling my age, but Coach Smitty really stressed defense, I believe.
Sure.
Of course, now he did have the 6-on-6 at one time, so you had defense. But he was he was defensive-minded, though. He let them. They outscored people. That's why they won. But what are our teams here?
I think we have a pretty good balance.
Sure.
I know anytime Bradley steps on the floor, they're going to guard you. I mean, that's just the way Coach Smith he expects them to play.
Forced turnovers.
And they're going to try to get up and down the floor offensively. Cleveland, now I don't know exactly how they're going to play this year because they've got so many new pieces, but the past couple of years, they've been a pressing style team because they're wanting to create turnovers and more possessions, on offense. Walker Valley's always, as long as Bob Williams has been there, they've liked to get up and down, shoot a lot of threes. Sure. But I think we've got a good mix of defensive-minded and offensive-minded.
I think so too on the boys' side. On the girls' side, I would say that Cleveland, Coach Kaiser, she's a defensive-minded coach. That's that's why she's giving Coach Stone a hard time. And Coach Stone, her example was in the media luncheon was that when she gets the ball down the court, she wants them to shoot it before they turn it over. So they're going to be trying to put a lot of shots up. So I think she's looking more offensive-minded. Kaiser, I think, is going to try to maybe create some turnovers. She's a smaller team, so if you can get out in transition, better off you'll be than playing a half-court game against an undersized opponent.
Okay. as I asked you about with the girls, the district that Cleveland, Walker Valley, and Bradley are in. Other teams in the district that we have to watch out for?
Yeah, I mean, Ooltewah was picked by the media.
We shouldn't have Ooltewah in our district. Every time I ask you that, it's always Ooltewah.
Well, Ooltewah was picked by the media to win the district. Cleveland was picked by the coaches, and Ooltewah fell in that second spot.
Sure.
But they returned the Jackson kid, very athletic wing. They returned him from last year. They lost Jawan Johnson, who was one of the better players in this area, and he's playing at Lee University now. Yeah. So they lost a lot, but they also return a lot. So
they kind of just reload over there at Ooltewah. And Ray County got a brand new coach down from the Plant City, Florida area. Okay. And he, matter of fact, he said that if he had to give you a roster right now, there'd only be 8 players on it. So they're got a little bit of attrition over there. And he's like, I can't even tell you who our starters are. So I think he's going to come there. He's got a great history behind him, resume behind him. But I think you'll see him kind of get that program back, and then a couple of years, Ray County be very competitive. But it looks like with some of the things coming out of the TSSAA that Ray County will be in a different district next year. You
mentioned, when you said the 8 players, it made me think of a quote that Coach Pearl, when he was up at UT, had. He said somebody asked him if, well, are your starting 5 the best players? He said, we may not have the best 5 players, but we may have the best 8 players.
Yes.
So sometimes having, the bench proves more advantageous than just having those stars that wear out or whatever.
That's one thing that Coach Williams at Walker Valley talked about at media days. He feels like he's going to be able to go 12 deep this year.
Yeah.
So that could give them.
Well, Robbie probably can attest from his coaching days. Sometimes when you're having a problem of figuring out who your starting 5 are, that's a good problem. Now, it can be a bad problem too, but I think in our cases here, it's a matter that it's so competitive, maybe like you said, 1 through 8, that any 5 could be the starter on a given night.
Everywhere I coached, our goal was to have 1 through 10. There not be much of a drop off.
Sure.
Some of our better teams that I coached, a lot of people thought our second 5 were as good as our first 5.
Well, as fast as teams play these days, there's not a lot of half court, offenses. It seems like you're a lot faster game, and you got to have those fresh legs in there.
When you coached, Robbie, were you one to substitute 5 at a time?
Not a lot. I mean, sometimes you might have to do that to get their attention. If you've got a group out there that gets off to a slow start, you might want to just say, all right, you next 5, go in and kind of send that first group a message to kind of get it together. But typically, no, you're going to strategically substitute certain guys for certain people.
You mentioned both with the boys and the girls, some kids that have gone on to college. Some names, I'll ask you again, that were playing locally within the last couple of years that have gone on to college ball.
Well, the kid that comes to mind that's probably having the best career at this point is Ish Sanders, who played at Cleveland. He's going into his junior season at Carson Newman, and he's averaged close to 20 points a game his freshman and sophomore year. So he's I know a lot of my coaching friends that didn't want to necessarily believe what I said about his talents. They're kind of regretting it right now because he's had he could have probably played maybe some big. But I'm a believer that a lot of times the place you're at where you're having success is the exact level you should be at.
They're not too far removed from the gentleman named Vincent Yarborough. There at Cleveland High School. I believe he's playing overseas now.
No, Vince retired. He's back.
Is he retired? Okay,
he's back in this area. I know he's coaching the Tennessee Travelers AAU team.
Okay, so that's what he's doing now. I thought he was still over in Europe.
Sounds like a good guest for the sports drive, maybe.
Very good.
But last year Cleveland had a kid, and his name's escaping me, Rose.
Yeah, Rose.
The Rose kid is playing at Lee right now. Trevor, the kid that played at Bradley last year.
Okay.
Several kids are going to play.
It's not easy to keep up with all these kids.
No, it's not.
There's football, basketball. I'm sure when baseball starts, you guys will be, and Bryce Copeland, of course, will be playing all these sports. We know that.
That's one thing common with the sports drive. There's a Copeland name going to be mentioned in a lot of sports. So.
I've heard you call Robbie Copeland every once just because you get no. I'm just
when you've seen so many kids come through, and a lot of to tell my age, a lot of these kids that are playing now are kids that I had when they were 6 and 7 years old, coming to our basketball camp at Lee, and now to see them playing in high school and some of them on to college, it's hard to keep up with all of them.
And you know, Alan, I know we're here to talk basketball today, but I think it would be wrong to not congratulate all 3 of our area football teams this year. Walker Valley getting back in the playoffs, big season for them. Coach Ryan's doing a great job. Coach Floyd's just continuing doing a good job up there at Bradley. And I tell you what, Cleveland Raiders have got a lot to be excited about with Coach Crawford. If you saw the energy that he's bringing and things he's going to do with that program over the next few years, Southeast Tennessee football is going to be right here in Bradley County. It's not going to get any better than what we have going on with our 3 schools. So proud of all 3 of them this year. And at one time, we had all 3 in the playoffs for about 8 hours.
Right. But I agree with you. Bradley County should be proud. Sure. I know that there was the little twisty, turny thing there with Cleveland's into the playoffs, not in the playoffs, and all that. And I think I felt worse for the guys at, was it Sullivan South?
They
because they didn't
6 hours.
Yeah, but it wasn't their fault. That was
no, they were a victim as well as Cleveland. They were, you know, they and that story can we would have to extend this show to a midday show. But let's just put it, the kids had to leave at 6 o'clock in the morning or 8 o'clock in the morning, play a game that they're going to return back home 6 o'clock the next morning. So they're going to see the sunrise leaving and the sunrise coming home. Sullivan's households.
They can tell their grandkids about it.
Yes, exactly. Story to tell.
And that's something you said. You see these kids that you coached or whatever playing. I see kids of kids of kids. So that's when you really know you're old, Robbie.
I've got kids of some of my former players that are in the same grade as my kids, so that really makes me.
Yeah. And we have to mention that Robbie is coaching again.
Oh.
He's back. You know, he went for the Lakers job against Phil Jackson and D'Antonio, but he settled for the job over there at Ross.
I think I'm coaching the Heat, though.
You're coaching the Heat?
I think that.
He's the only one I saw him having second and third graders running bleachers at 9 o'clock at night. You know.
Well, you know, it's kind of hard to get rid of that college coaching. We have a midnight start?
Midnight Madness.
Our first practice was 8 o'clock on a school night, so it was relatively similar to a midnight madness.
For that age.
Okay. Give me a rundown. Who we looking at in elementary school basketball this year? Who's the cream of the crop?
I haven't done any advanced scouting yet.
I thought maybe you had.
But
I could see you doing that though.
All I know is the Ross Rockets second and third grade team went 30-0 last year. So if I lose a game, I'll probably get fired.
Not speaking of fired, but your guys' impressions of one of the most recent college basketball, UTC women beating the UT women. Surprised?
I was a little surprised, but at the same time, I think UTC's a little better program than people were giving them credit for. Tennessee, meaning the Lady Vols,
right?
They're getting it back together. They followed up with a big win against the Yellow Jackets of Georgia Tech, and Holly Warlick. There's no doubt she's the lady for the job,
right?
And I think she'll do wonderful things there. And I wish her the best. Very, very classy lady. And Lady Vols are very lucky to have her part of there. But it obviously was a shock. You're used to hearing the Tennessee Vols going 30-0 and things like that and making a run against games like that. But I think you cannot put that loss on Holly Warlick.
No.
Well, Wes Moore has done a great job at Chattanooga. I mean, he's one of the better coaches in the country, and he had the opportunity a couple of years back to he took the East Carolina job for a couple of a day or two, and then decided he was happy in Chattanooga, and he came back.
I'm surprised that a bigger school hasn't gobbled him up, bigger than East Carolina for that matter.
Yeah, I mean, he certainly could coach at a higher level, but he's got a good thing going at Chattanooga, and when you get them down there in the Roundhouse playing, that's a big home court advantage because they draw probably better for the Lady Mocs than they do the Mocs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Any thoughts on is it Conzo? Is that how you say it, or Quanzo?
Conzo.
Martin's team, how the Vols are going to be this year, because I don't follow them as much either. But last year seemed to be I don't know, an up and down or something year for me?
It was an up and down season for the Vols. One thing, drastic different, the guys that were on that team, completely different system under Conzo Martin than with Bruce Pearl. And Robbie, being a coach, can talk about this better than I can, but the systems were completely different. And but Coach Martin, I think, was a fantastic hire for the job. I think he could do a great job there. And they're looking good this year. It had a solid recruiting class. And once they got Jarnell Stokes came back, he didn't go out his freshman year. And Dron Mayman has been injured. They probably won't have him till in December, maybe even late December. But once they get those two big hosses in there, the Vols will look okay. They'll be solid in the SEC this year. They may not be. They're not Kentucky level, but they'll be competitive.
Well, they were preseason 4th in the media poll, and I think they'll be a top 25 caliber team before the year's over when they get Mayman back. Some of the younger kids, Kenny Hall has looked impressive early on, and I've always thought that kid from the eye test, he looks like he ought to be a player.
Yeah.
And he's starting to come into his own. They've got good guards, Jordan McCray,
Trey Golden,
and then they've got Skylar McBee. Seems like he's been playing since Ernie and Bernie was there. He's been there forever.
And probably
kid from Rutledge.
Probably the young man that's made the biggest growth this year has been Josh Richardson. He's actually, so far, he's got the starting nod over Jordan McCray, just simply because he had such a good offseason, did all the offseason, weight training he needed to get up to size. So great defender. He's just he just hounds the guys constantly.
Well, if you're going to play for Conzo Martin, you're going to have to play defense because Conzo comes from that Purdue Gene Cady background, and they preach defense probably 80% of the time.
Sure.
Well, let me go ahead and ask you, who's the #1 college basketball team, men's college basketball team? Robbie, who's the #1 men's college basketball team?
Well, I know you're expecting me to say Kentucky, but they're not the #1 team at this point.
No.
They might be at the end of the year,
okay.
But they're not right now.
Well, we know last week they lost.
Indiana right now is preseason #1, and until someone beats them, I guess they're still #1. Yeah. And they return Cody Zeller, who's probably
preseason picked to be the
preseason player of the year. Had an unbelievable recruiting class. Had the #1. Well, no, they didn't. Kentucky had the #1 recruiting class once again, but they had the #2.
I love once again. It seems like it's every year.
It is.
It's 5 years in a row now, I think.
Yeah.
But right now you've got that triangle. You got Indiana, Louisville, and Kentucky. Preseason 1, 2, and 3, and that kind of takes it back to the mid to late '80s, back when all 3 teams were going to Final Fours. And
got to look out for Louisville this year. They're a team that's really impressive. Indiana, like you said, are the #1 team right now until they're knocked off. But Louisville's a team that's they're passing the eye test early.
I'll tell you the team from the SEC to look out for, and I think even on a national level, is Florida.
Okay.
Yeah.
They looked very impressive last week in their win against Wisconsin.
Yeah.
They return. I mean, they're loaded. They return.
That Boykin kid is.
They've got.
Well, it wasn't too many years ago that they had the great team when they had the Noah.
Yeah.
Well,
they won back-to-back national titles back in it was either 04, 05, or 05, 06.
I think it was 04, 05.
But I mean, last 2 years they've made it to the Elite 8 and just didn't advance to the Final Four. This year with they've got the 2 big guys inside, Murphy and Patrick Young.
Sure.
They got Kenny Boyden, and then they've got Mike Rosario, kid that transferred from Rutgers.
Hey, I know you guys have got to leave because it's an early Monday morning and you have work to do to get prepared for CBC tonight.
Yes,
correct?
That's right. We'll be out there from 5 to 8 o'clock.
Tell you what, this is Thanksgiving week, so I'm gonna throw a question at you that you didn't expect and see if you can answer it. And it's for both of you, but don't answer at the same time, and don't answer. Robbie should not be your answer, or Scott should not be your answer. But what are you guys most thankful for with it being Thanksgiving week? Stunned looks.
Most thankful for my family is by far the most important thing to me.
Yeah, I mean, not to steal his thunder, but I'm most thankful for my family, 2 healthy kids, healthy wife,
and I'd be remiss to say that I'm also thankful that my whole family's Tennessee Volunteer fans too. Okay. So that adds
and I'm
to
thankful that I have blue blood.
That's right.
And you're thankful that Aaron and
Hildebrand, Jason?
Yeah, Jason. We're not on the show today.
Yeah, we actually got to do a little talking.
Yeah.
Now, we have found out with Aaron, if you just put food out there, kind of, we get a chance to talk. You put a chicken strip in front of Aaron, and he shuts up.
You know, their two teams are going to play each other in the SEC championship. Are you guys going to let up on them at all during that week?
Well, Robbie and I are already on the basketball.
Okay.
So because our teams have been very disappointed this year.
We're on the basketball, but we've got one eye on a coaching search.
Yeah, we do, and we still have a game, at least a little bragging rights inside the studio amongst ourselves. That's coming up this week.
Okay.
And we'll get the get it going again. We had 26 in a row. It starts again this weekend.
Well, if you run into Wes Rucker anywhere, ask him if he knows anything about what's going on, because he's the major blogger on anything going on at UT. So, and as we said, we're not going to talk about Dooley, Gruden.
They got a new term for it now. It's called groomers.
With a hashtag.
Yes.
Yeah, I saw some of the things, and as I said, we're not going to get into that. It's Thanksgiving week. Let's all be thankful for good things and not bad seasons and things like that. Sorry. Guys, I appreciate you coming on. I know you got to go, but we hope to have you on again. Who knows when baseball season starts?
Love to.
Maybe at the end of basketball season. It's always fun. You guys are some of the most knowledgeable sports folks in our community, and I appreciate that.
Well, appreciate that. We need to reverse the role and get you over on the sports drive one night.
Well, not with Aaron and Jason.
We'll get you a night they're not there.
You need to come when we're at CBC so you can get one of those hamburgers.
Now that I can do. Or the beef pulled pork nachos at Aubrey's are pretty good too. And Dustin, Gil.
Yes.
Yeah, over there I believe.
Yes.
You need to tell him, hey, he's a halfway decent golfer.
Yeah, he is.
We're going to take another quick break and let these guys go and grab them a cup of coffee or something before they have to start working. What was it, Big Pink? Is that what your name?
Big Pink is a common name that I go by on the morning show.
You may actually hear Big Pink on the radio this morning. And
yes, you will.
Go by E.L. Ross, you may hear Robbie yelling at the kids, play a little defense. So we'll be back after these messages. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you.
Stay tuned.
Great local sports right here on WTNB East Tennessee Television. Keep up to date on all your Walker Valley sports news Wednesdays with the Walker Valley Sports Zone. Get a behind-the-scenes look at all the local high school area football with the pregame Thursdays at 10. And it's a Friday night tradition. Football Friday, every Friday night at 11 o'clock. Right here on WTNB East Tennessee Television.
Kyle Motors, 802 20th Street Southeast in Cleveland, is the place to find quality pre-owned cars and trucks. Kyle offers on-the-spot financing on all vehicles on the lot. Each pre-owned vehicle goes through a complete inspection to make sure each car and truck meets the Kyle Motors standard. Warranty and extended warranties available on all vehicles. Kyle Motors will sell you a car or truck that you will be proud to drive for many years to come. See Tony, Bill, Dale, James, or David and let them put you in your next quality pre-owned vehicle. Kyle Motors, 802 20th Street Southeast. Phone 790-7100.
At Crawford Pharmacy, we offer custom compounding. Our pharmacists are known for their attention to detail and unique expertise. So visit us at 2260 Chambliss Avenue, Cleveland, Tennessee. For personal assistance, walk right in or come up to our convenient drive-thru. Crawford Pharmacy, serving our community one person at a time.
Featuring some of the South's most scenic views, the Mountain View Inn has been a landmark in the Cleveland community for over 40 years. Our executive guest quarters with flat screen TVs and excellent bedding will make any guest comfortable. Carrie's Restaurant is one of Cleveland's favorite, with one of the best buffets around.
Hello, and on behalf of the Hughes family, thank you for so many years of your business and your friendship.
Town Americana, where trucks are big and bold, and a handshake is firm, and your word is gold. Don Ledford Chevy Buick GMC in Athens is a $2,000 drive. Maybe you're coming from here or here, doesn't matter. Buying a truck from Don Ledford in Athens will save you at least $2,000 bucks. Don Ledford Chevy Buick GMC in Athens, a $2,000 drive worth making.
I'll take that drive every time.
Okay, do not adjust your set. And don't think that it's a mirror image or anything like that. This is actually Joe Palo.
Reggie Bush today.
Reggie Bush, he has number 22 in his Dolphins gear. Joe is not a fair weather Dolphins fan. He loves the Dolphins week in, week out, 24/7.
Absolutely.
Win or lose, you got your Dolphins hat on. You got your Dolphins.
Which is not conducive to being on TV, but if I took my hat off, my hair, it looks nothing like you know it to look.
You would have hat hair.
Oh yeah.
So we don't, Monday morning we don't want to scare the folks. We let the Wednesday morning hosts scare the folks.
Right.
And who would that be?
That would be myself and of course my wife Kim.
Yes. You guys, yeah, and I'm not tooting my horn, please. But you got some good folks on your show that host the shows. I know James
Absolutely.
and Stacy
Yes.
do, I believe, Fridays.
Yes, they do.
And you and Kim on Wednesday. Tuesday alternates a little bit.
Right. K Free.
Oh yeah, Kate and Chris.
Free. And
Yeah.
Of course, you on Mondays and Doc and
Tracy and Tommy.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess they'll be coming up maybe a couple. Well, I don't know. With this holiday, things may change a little bit, but. The show. Tell me a little bit about how did this show originate, Joe?
We were thinking about well, as you probably remember, years ago WTNB used to have a newscast every day. We wanted to bring that back, but there's a lot of work in putting that together. Not to mention a lot of salaries and that kind of thing. People you have to hire. So we thought, okay, something maybe a little bit on the line would be a good morning show. Talk a little bit about what's going on in the community, that type of thing. Putting that together was, at start, was a little difficult, but after we got everything in ducks in the row and got the wonderful guest host and hosts that we have, and then the guests that come on, it just started, I guess, snowballing into being just a very good morning show, afternoon show as well, because it comes on at noon. And the guests have been tremendous. As you said, the hosts are out of this world, and it just is. It was just something we felt like would be good for the community, and of course good for the station, and having something like that on every day. So
and I forgot to mention Nancy and Brene.
Yes,
we we definitely can't forget Nancy and Brene, and they're four-legged friends that come on every once in a while. So but even though as a host I feel like we do add to it, I think it's our guests that come on that really make the show.
You're right.
And I know that you've mentioned to me at times guests that I've had when we had like Tommy Myers on from the City Public Works, that you learn something when you watch this program.
Yes, you do.
It's entertaining, but there's also a lot of information out there, and we try to promote things that are going on in our community as well. So people need to tell folks about Tennessee Valley this morning. Watch it in the morning. As I tell some people, even if you don't watch it, turn it on and listen. You may not want to look at me. You may not want to look at Dolphins paraphernalia.
Oh, they want to look at me, Alan.
Well, they may. Well, but I said Dolphins. I didn't say you.
Oh, yeah, okay, all right. Well, I'm Reggie today, though.
Reggie Bush.
Yeah. I don't look really like I look like on TV.
Right.
A little different because I'm wearing a helmet and that kind of thing. But other than that, though, this is me.
And of course, I'm a Jacksonville fan because
you got the colors on.
Well, we have a Mincy that plays on the line for Jacksonville.
Yes, but it's not a relation, is it?
No, we claim him when he makes a tackle, but when he tries to hand tackle, he's not one of us. He's one of those other Mincys from down
Well,
around
no,
Savannah.
this is what I want to ask you. In watching the show today and being back there directing this, I'm finding out there's a lot of athletic mincies. So I'm wondering, you played...
Me? Yes, I was probably one of the best trumpet players in the band. No athletics from me. No.
You know a lot about sports, though.
Well, I love sports.
Yeah.
You know, and I've loved watching it. I'm a baseball fan.
Okay.
And I know I gave you a hard time about the Marlins because last week it looks like another fire sale. They got rid of Reyes and Josh Johnson, who I think is a great pitcher, and Burley, who they just got.
Yeah.
But you know, they've done this before and then came back and won the World Series.
Well, they have this philosophy that they can take little or no talent and build them into a championship team. They have done that before, but the fire sale is not ever good for the fans. This particular fire sale, the fans are livid. 80% of the new stadium was built by fan funding.
Exactly.
And now there's really not a product. And so I don't know what's going to happen, but that was devastating to me. I could not believe that they did that. But I think it was the money situation. They went from like $56 million in 2010 to like $118 million in 2011. Came in last place, so I guess they figured, hey, let's restructure this.
For an old Braves fan from when they came to Atlanta back in the mid '60s, I've watched teams that have been terrible. That have become good, and so I've never put it past the team to rise from the bottom up to the top, and they've done it in the past. So we will see. But I wanted to get you out here, and we've only got a minute left.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you the same question. You may ask this during your show, you and Kim. It's Thanksgiving week, Joe.
Yes.
What do you have to be thankful for?
Oh goodness. Well, health. My family, my lovely family, my wife Kim and my two sons. Corey
You do
and
love
Matthew.
Kim. I
do.
need to say that because you guys really do rag on each other.
Yes, we cut up a lot, and that's what makes it good. We're best friends, and that's the way it's got to be. Yes, I do love Kim. My two sons, as I said, Corey and Matthew. And then, of course, what's going on with the station? I'm thankful for that. It's starting to get a little bigger, and people are realizing that this is a wonderful community station here that we have. And as you said, the shows that we have and bringing on and that kind of thing. So I'm thankful for all that. And, of course, thankful for just getting up every morning and being able to walk about and do what I need to do and feel good.
Not too thankful for the Tennessee Titans, though. Oh, we're going back a couple of weeks.
Yeah. We're not thankful for the Titans. I like to refer to them as the Houston Oilers.
We better stop because you'll get carried away.
I will, and I'll get angry.
Joe, thanks for coming on this last segment.
Buddy.
And thank you for watching Tennessee Valley this morning. Have a great week. Eat a lot of turkey on Thursday. I know Joe will. And we will see you in a couple of Mondays. So see you later.